Pupils are required under the curriculum to be able to use ICT across a range of subjects. So they might be word processing their essays in English. In mathematics, they won't necessarily be word processing because that's quite difficult, but actually they can use other mathematical applications to help them, particularly with their investigations. There are some examples in core maths. In additional mathematics, I'm just going to talk through some of the examples you might find interesting. Starting with the investigation of Pythagorean triplets. As you probably know, that 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. That's a Pythagorean triplet. The challenge you give to your pupils is to find how many Pythagorean triplets can they find. So rather than going to hit their calculators and experimenting, show them how to set up a spreadsheet, show them how to write the formula for squared, show them how to make the numbers get bigger by adding 1, and show them how they can then pick up those triplets and then look for any pattern spotting. That's all talked through quite carefully, step by step, at the end of chapter 10 of Additional Maths. You could also use a graphics package to explore some geometric topics in the syllabus. At the end of chapter 13, we look at the graphical fractals, particularly the cock snowflake fractal, and build that up using a graphics package, and then moving on to the Romanesque broccoli fractal, which is unique to this book. Hopefully your pupils will enjoy that repetitive copy, paste, rotate, copy, paste, rotate, which is part of building up in fractals to build these magnificent spirals. Another time you might be using an Excel spreadsheet would be when you're investigating curved graphs. Pupils like to draw graphs with a ruler because that's how they start. When you get those curved graphs, they need to move away from a ruler and really get used to drawing the curves. By setting up with an Excel spreadsheet the formula x squared plus 1 equals 0, whatever it is, you can then zoom up into the number line. So make those increments of the x very small and then draw your graph, and you can really then construct this beautiful parabolic curve, and pupils can see the shape of it and they believe it if it's done on a computer. They won't necessarily believe it if you draw it on the board. A final example of how you can use ICT in your mathematics classes is by the use of projects, particularly looking at investigating mathematics in the news. Your pupils are the most environmentally aware generation that this country have ever produced. Therefore, they'll be interested in headlines about global change, temperature change, global warming, migration, all mathematical. So they can investigate the figures using a spreadsheet. They can write up their project using word processing. They can illustrate their project with clip art, or they can be looking at building up patterns by using maps and arrows and explaining their findings in as many different ways as you can think of. So hopefully you'll find those of great interest to your pupils, and they will be using their mathematics but in a very practical way and inspiring them. So when they do go on later to make those decisions about what they want to do when they're older, these sorts of projects will really find inspiration for your pupils.